Live from Arlington Stadium, it's the Texas Rangers hosting the Seattle Mariners. A pair of right-handers on the mound for this one. The University of Maine's Billy Swift takes the hill for the Mariners, while Nolan Ryan goes for the Rangers. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Baseball Tonight. I'm Bill Patrick. It's the Rangers and the Mariners live from Arlington, Texas. Nolan Ryan after win number 301 on this, the one-year anniversary of strikeout number 5,000. He is winless in his last 3 starts, while Billy Swift is coming off a loss last time out, but he is 3-1 as a starter for Seattle. Now, Monday night, the Mariners lost to the Rangers 6-5, Texas scoring a run in the bottom of the ninth. Last night, the Mariners returned the favors, sort of, as they preserved a 4-3 win on a controversial play in the bottom of the ninth. We pick it up with 2 outs, Jeff Hewson on first, Mike Schooler pitching to Kevin Reimer. Dave Niehaus has the call.
And a fly ball to center field and deep. Back goes Griffey, back to the track, the wall. It's out the middle of the wall. Here comes Hewson around third. The relay by Vizquel, not in time. We are out. It is in time as he missed the plate. Valley goes back to get him, and the ball game is over.
The Rangers lost for the 10th time in their last 17 games, but they still own the second-best record in the American League West after the All-Star game, second to Oakland. The Rangers are 7 games over 500 in that time, while the Mariners are 3 games under 500, a game under 500 for the season. And, of course, they have never had a winning season in 13 years. Straight ahead, it's the Mariners and Rangers live from Arlington. I'll be here throughout the evening with scores, highlights, and updates for you. Enjoy, everybody. I'll see you later.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Isuzu. For features, styling, and price, there's no comparison. By BF Goodrich TA Tires, the athletic shoes for your car. By Parts Plus, for name brands you can rely on, go to Parts Plus, America's family of auto parts stores. And by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Welcome to Arlington, Texas, and here on a very hot evening, 97 degrees at game time, the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers will hook it up in a battle of the American League West. More significantly, perhaps tonight for the fans in attendance, it is Nolan Ryan on the mound for the Texas Rangers. Steve Zabriskie along with Hall of Famer Bob Gibson as we welcome you. And Hoot tonight with Nolan on the mound, Bill Swift going for the Seattle Mariners. These two teams' biggest problem, I think, is that they're in the same division with Oakland.
Yeah, they both have played pretty good baseball, and you might think being out 16 and 14 games that they really have nothing to play for, but they do. Seattle has a good ball club, and they're trying to prove to people that they are capable of playing in this division. And, of course, Texas have been pretty good all season. Both of these teams have something to prove.
And they have both improved a great deal. Well, let's check out now the Sears diehard starting lineup for the Seattle Mariners this evening against Nolan. Second baseman Harold Reynolds will lead it off. Greg Briley will be in left field batting second. Ken Griffey in center field bats third. Alvin Davis will be the designated hitter tonight batting fourth. Rookie Tino Martinez will be at first base batting fifth. Henry Cotto in right field batting sixth. The catcher Dave Valley will bat seventh. Rookie shortstop Omar Vizquel bats eighth. And rookie Jeff Schaefer will be at third base batting ninth.
And from left field to right, Pete Incavilla out in left field. Gary Pettis at center. Ruben Sierra out in right field. Third base, Jeff Hewson. Gary Green at shortstop. Julio Franco at second base. Rafael Paramero at first base. Gino Petralli behind the plate, and of course Nolan Ryan out on the hill. Nolan is basically a fastball pitcher, has an excellent curveball. Every once in a while he'll dabble with a split finger fastball. Has been a great pitcher for years, and of course everybody knows Nolan.
This year it's been an up and down season for him, and he of course has never been more up than winning the 300th game of his career recently. But he is winless since winning number 300. 11-6 on the year. So Harold Reynolds stands in against Ryan. Reynolds hitting .244, 2 homers and 39 RBIs. That's a strike. Reynolds didn't like the call, and he's been in a bit of a slump lately. 2 for his last 22. When you're going poorly, you have a tendency to complain more. 1-1.
Yeah, even the first pitch of the ball game.
2-1. Well, the Mariners have been struggling as a team to score runs lately, and obviously the prospect of facing Nolan Ryan with the potential, as you see the game time temperature reflected on the scoreboard. That's right in there. 2-2.
Nolan is a lot like a lot of good pitchers in that the first inning or two he has a hard time finding his control, and therefore he doesn't throw nearly as hard. He doesn't break his curveball off as well at the beginning of the game.
Fly ball to right field, and a little bit of a late break by Ruben Sierra, who may be struggling with the late evening sun a little bit, but out number 1 nonetheless. The wind is blowing in primarily, as you see the flags in center field blowing from left center field for the most part, and briskly, so it may hold up many balls in the air.
Yeah, normally you'll see the wind blowing out to left field right toward that 380, but blowing in, I think Nolan Ryan loves this.
Oh, got to. Greg Briley, the hitter, and he takes an off-speed pitch for strike 1. Briley hitting .244.
What you can do on days that the wind is blowing straight in behind you, you get behind and you don't have to be as particular about some pitches. You can throw high fastballs all over the plate and see if the guy can hit it 400 feet, and usually they can't do it, except some guys can, and those guys you don't throw high fastballs to.
Yeah, they'll turn that wind around. Fastball ripped to right field. Sierra now going back and the wall. Briley can run well, and he may try for 3, and he is, and he will make it. Sierra could not catch up to it, and it's a triple for Briley.
Well, it appeared to me that Sierra just misjudged that ball, and we'll take a look at the replay here. He just didn't go back as far as he should have. You run back where you think the ball is going. See, he thought he was going to hit the wall there, and he jumped a little bit too soon. A couple more steps, and he would have caught that ball easily.
You know, he got a late break on the first out that he had to come in on, and he got a late break on this one. Maybe he is bothered by the twilight a little bit.
Yeah, and also when you're in the outfield and you're looking into the stands, especially like this, an open ballpark, a lot of the white shirts will reflect, and that'll kind of interfere with what you're seeing.
Especially a ball hit on the line like that was. So Briley's at third with 1 out for Ken Griffey, who's hitting .313. A fastball inside, and it's 2-0. Griffey's been in a little bit of a slump lately. Even though he leads the American League in hits with 149, he has only had 1 hit in his last 18 at bats. Grounded foul outside first.
Well, you know, you have to take the bitter with the sweet. You're going to have some times where everything goes right for you, but if you play this game long enough, you're going to have some spells where you just don't pitch well, or you don't hit the ball, or you don't feel the ball well, and you have to just kind of bear with it until those things pass.
It would be impossible with a 162 game season to avoid those periods. Fouled again. 2-2 to Griffey.
Just got a note here that Griffey is the youngest player in the American League, and Nolan Ryan is the oldest.
Actually, there are 3 players in the Mariners lineup, including Griffey, who were not born when Nolan Ryan pitched his first game in the big leagues in 1966. Outside.
Yeah, I don't know if it bothers Nolan Ryan at all. When I was ending up in my career and I was 39 years old, take a look at this pitch, a little outside. they used to always refer to my age, and that it bothered me. I don't know if it bothers Nolan or not.
Fastball rip foul again.
Used to call me a veteran. You know, I was a.
Which is a euphemism for the fact that you're getting old for a baseball player.
I didn't mind veteran, but they didn't have to tell everybody in the world that I was 39 and a half years old, you know, waiting for my 40th birthday.
Ground ball to second. It'll get the run home. Riley scores to make it 1-0 Seattle. An RBI for Griffey, his 59th of the year. 2 out. So here's Alvin Davis hitting .289, 10 homers and 43 RBIs. Davis has not been struggling lately. He's hit .333 in his last 22 games. A strike on the inside corner, 0-1.
You know, being a pinch hitter, it's fun for some guys. Most people, they'd rather be playing, and it keeps them loose. It's very difficult to sit on the bench time and time again and just go up and hit. You have to loosen up every time you go up all over again, and it's just not that difficult. It's not that easy to keep your mind on the game.
I think that's why being a designated hitter or pinch hitting, probably two of the most difficult jobs in baseball to do well and to be consistent.
Usually they will select an older player, a more experienced player, to do either one of those.
There are two reasons for that. Boy, Ryan really fooled Davis with the breaking ball and gets his first strikeout. But 1 hit, 1 run in the first for Seattle. They lead 1-0. Welcome back to Texas. And as we go to the bottom half of the first inning, we'll show you the Sears diehard starting lineup for the hometown Rangers tonight. Gary Pettis, the center fielder, leads it off. Rookie Jeff Houston will be at third base batting second. Rafael Palmeiro tearing it up, hitting the ball, batting third at first base. Ruben Sierra, the right fielder, bats fourth. Julio Franco at second base batting fifth. The designated hitter, Harold Baines, bats sixth. Edie Cavilla struggling at the plate in left field batting seventh. Gino Petralli, the catcher, bats eighth. And rookie shortstop Gary Green bats ninth.
And out in left field, we got Greg Briley, Ken Griffey Jr. in center field, Henry Cotto out in right, Jeff Schaefer at third base, Omar Vizquel, I'll get it right, he's at shortstop, Harold Reynolds at second base, Tino Martinez at first base, Dave Valley behind home plate, and Bill Swift on the mound. Swift is one of those guys that will not walk anybody. You want a base on ball, you have to wait till next year. He just doesn't walk many guys. In 100 innings, he's only walked 12 men unintentionally. So you can look for strikes on this guy. And hitters like to face guys that throw strikes all the time. He's not going to blow you away from the plate. So when you make an out, he gives you what you would call a comfortable collar.
Yeah, you may go 0 for 4, but you didn't get wasted in the process. He's had an outstanding season as a swingman. He's 5-3 with a 1.86 earned run average. This is only his 8th start, but it's his 38th appearance. So the fleet-footed Gary Pettis will stand in, batting .241 with 3 homers and 27 RBIs. And he pulls it back and takes a strike. Pettis has been struggling, but he has already driven in 9 more runs than he did all of last year. Off the end of the bat, a tapper that goes foul. So it's strike 2. Dave Valley with that unusual extra little ear flap that he wears on his helmet when he catches. And you say, well, why doesn't he wear one on the other side as well? Well, the other side's the side he throws from. Catchers like to throw that ball very close to their ear. And if it were on the other side, it might get in the way.
Well, he'd better get his hand out a little further away from his head than that. It sounds good. That's logical thinking, but He'd better get his hand out just a little further.
And up a little higher.
Yeah. But I can understand that. It'd bother him.
1-2 to Pettis. Jeff Houston and Rafael Palmeiro to follow. And the Rangers lead it 1-0 in the first. Larry Young is the home plate umpire. Darrell Cousins at first base. Ed Hickox at second and Mark Johnson at third, the umpiring crew tonight. 2-2. By the first baseman Tino Martinez for a base hit into right field.
Take a look at this ball. He hit it 2 or 3 hoppers. These are what you call senile singles because they go right in between 2 infielders. In fact, I think Martinez may have tipped it just a little bit. Now, if we were on a artificial infield, that ball would have been out to the outfield 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been close. Here's Jeff Houston. Acquired earlier in the season from Montreal, hitting .255, no homers and 22 RBIs. And he too has been on the skids a little bit offensively. Ball 1. By and large, the Rangers have not had a lot of problems offensively. The rest of their lineup after the top of the order pretty much hitting the ball fairly well, but the pitching and the defense have been a little inconsistent.
And also at the beginning of the year, they had so many injuries. They have just now gotten to the point where mostly everybody on their lineup or in their lineup is the regulars that started the season.
Fouled off and Pettis was running. Pettis with 28 stolen bases in 41 attempts. Fouled off the end of the bat, and again Pettis was running on the pitch.
He's one of the few guys. They do have a couple of guys. Franco will run a lot, but he's one of the few guys that will take off at any time. And in fact, he's the 5th in the American League in stolen bases now with 28. So you have to kind of keep an eye on him, but not to the point where you're distracted from doing your job at home plate. And a lot of times you'll see these guys throw over to first so often they'll forget what they're doing at home plate.
Well, Pettis finally got Bill Swift's attention. He had not been thrown over there too much. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pettis at first with nobody out in the bottom of the first inning. Not running, and the pitch a breaking ball low, and it's 2-2.
All you can really do, unless you have a really good move over first, the only thing that's expected of you is to hold the guy. Don't let him get a good jump and give the catcher a shot at him. And by that you can mix up your timing with your delivery. But when you start throwing over to first a lot, then you'll really forget what you're doing at home plate. And then that hitter will kill you. I remember Tim McCarver used to always say, give me a shot at him. I said, hey, Tim, he was my problem with you when he was at home plate. Now he's your problem.
You're on your own, pal. Catchers want all the help they can get.
Absolutely.
Foul tip, and it is held by Valley, and so a strikeout recorded for Swift, the first down of the inning.
Third, number 25, first baseman Rafael.
Here's Raffy, and he has been hot. He has also been consistent. Not only is he among the league leaders with a .319 average, But over the last 87 games, he has hit .336. That's a pretty good 3 months.
Guy like Palmeiro, he likes the ball up, he likes it down, he likes it everywhere. He hits the ball, he sprays it around a lot, but I would be forced to pitch him away and just let him go the other way. You pitch him inside, he's capable of hitting a home run, hitting extra base hits. You pitch him away, usually it'll be a single, unless he hits it up in the gap.
A strike, 0-1, and he doesn't really have that power the other way, and there are very few players that do. Can really kill the ball to the opposite field. Pitch out, but Pettis not running. 1-1.
Well, if you're going to pitch out, then you got to pitch out again.
Then you'll force him to run.
Yes.
You were not a big fan of pitch outs.
No, I sure wasn't. They get you in trouble all the time pitching out. All of a sudden you're behind, and now you got to throw it in there, and the guy runs anyway.
That's right.
Nobody to throw him out.
You talk him into taking off.
Yeah. 1-1, you're still pretty safe. There's 50-50 chance he won't go.
He's not going, and the pitch is just outside. 2-1.
Now there's a better chance he'll go.
Yeah. This is a good count to run on because it just about totally hates the chance of another pitch out. There's Dave Oliver, the third base coach for the Rangers.
Of course, when you have a pitcher like Swift who really doesn't walk guys, maybe you won't be afraid to do that. I don't know.
Well, Pettis wasn't running. It wasn't a pitch out. It's a fly ball to short left field. Greg Briley comes in, and there are 2 out. Pettis, who led off the inning with a single, still at first base. And here's Ruben Sierra. Sierra hitting .285 with 15 homers and 77 RBIs, working on a 7-game hitting streak. As a switch hitter, he has hit significantly better right-handed than left-handed, which is the way he's hitting now. .323 as a right-handed hitter. A high bouncer to second. Reynolds to Martinez, and the inning is over. 1 hit, 1 left in the first for Texas. After 1, it's 1-0 Seattle.
Right now, here to base 64, your Rangers.
3-game sweep because the Red Sox won this afternoon. Toronto trying to come back down 2-0. Fred McGriff hits what appears to be a double into the corner. It would take an absolutely perfect throw to get him, and Jesse Barfield does just that. A strike to second. He is out at second, but the Jays have come back and tied this game at 2 apiece in the 5th. Back to Arlington.
Thank you, William. We're going to the second inning. 1-0 Seattle leading, and rookie Tino Martinez, who's off to a blazing start, albeit just 8 at-bats, will lead it off against Nolan Ryan. Martinez is 5 for his first 8. A cool .625 average as he takes the ball. He has yet to hit a home run, but he has driven in 2. Called up Monday from Calgary AAA, where he was hitting .319 with 17 homers and 92 RBIs. Now 92 RBIs in a full minor league season is pretty good because it's significantly shorter than a big league season. 92 RBIs at this point in time is great. 2-1.
They usually end up about the 4th or 5th of September, right, in the minor league. So,
and they start later in April than the big leagues do, so it's a much shorter season. Off the end of the bat to shortstop. Gary Green with an easy play for out number 1. Green hadn't been here very long himself. So Martinez now 5 for 9, that average dropping like a rock. The way he started off, you might say he's in a slump already. Here's Henry Cotto hitting .268, 3 homers and 25 RBIs. Good curveball from Nolan Ryan for strike 1. Well, you start looking for that heat from Ryan, and he'll do that.
Well, the curveball has been the thing that has really made him. The curveball and every once in a while that split finger fastball. Now, Nolan always did have the curveball, but earlier in his career, he just didn't get it over. So you never looked for it. He threw it, and it would trick you, but it wasn't a strike. So you look for the fastball. But now you can't look for either one. He can get both of them over.
0-2. And he blows him away with the heat. Strikeout number 2 for Ryan. 2 out in the second.
Well, there he got in between. He had that good curveball, and now he throws a fastball on the outside corner, and you can see from that swing that Cotto was kind of thinking, is he going to throw me a fastball or is he going to throw me a breaking ball? As Tony Oliva says, be ready for everything. Now, how are you going to be ready for everything?
It's a lot easier to say than it is to do.
Yeah.
Petrelli out for a brief conference, and I wonder if Nolan Ryan is in pain. Nolan Ryan has had recurring back problems. I mean, he is 43. We tend to forget.
Well, your back's supposed to hurt at 43.
Well, mine does.
And everything else.
That's right. Ball 1. Dave Valley hitting .207, 5 homers and 26 RBIs. Another curveball that misses. Ball 2. Valley's been dropping like a rock since he came off the disabled list 44 games ago. He's hit only 165, and actually he's gotten worse lately. He's 3 for his last 31 at bats. Ryan just smoked him inside, 3-0.
Now there's a perfect example. Take a look at this pitch right here. That ball just misses the inside corner, and it almost hits him. There's no reason for that unless you're diving out over that plate.
Well, the first 2 pitches were breaking balls down and away.
Don't dive. Please don't do that.
And ball 4. So Ryan issues his first walk. Valley at first with 2 out for Omar Vizquel.
If you want to start a team fight, then dive over the plate, and you will be out there, and everybody else will be out there.
That's right. Guys get hurt that way too.
The funny thing about it, you can miss outside a foot and nobody will say anything. If you miss inside a couple of inches, everybody wants to punch you out. And you don't have good enough control where you throw it where you want to every single time.
Well, it used to be that, you know, knocking guys down was a part of the game and nobody got real excited about it. And you just, from certain pitchers, no names will be mentioned at the moment. Fair ball just inside the line as Vizquel will have an extra base hit. Valley coming around third, being sent home, and he will score. And Seattle takes a 2-0 lead. 14th RBI for Omar Vizquel. That's Vizquel's first hit of his career against Nolan Ryan. He was 0 for 10 before that at bat.
He really didn't hit that ball very well. He got jammed a little bit. You can see right there, he may have even broken his bat. But you can't play a guy down the line. You see they have been playing him all the way around to hit the other way, and that's how you hit a triple. Sometimes you hit it inside of the park if you can run well enough.
Vizquel, one of the 3 players not yet born when Nolan Ryan began his big league career. Ken Griffey, Tino Martinez, and Vizquel, the 3 in the Seattle lineup. And here's Jeff Schaefer, a rookie, hitting .190, no homers, 3 RBIs.
You know, in a lot of cases when the youngsters see Nolan Ryan out there, and the old guys will say, you know, you should have seen this guy throw when he was young. In Nolan Ryan's case, it's still the same.
If anything, he has better control the second 10 years of his career than he did the first 10 years of his career. 1-1 to Schaefer. And a breaking ball, it just misses. 2-1. Nolan Ryan now in his third 10 years or decade. There's Jim Lefevre, the Seattle manager. Now it's 3-1. Omar Vizquel at third, 2 out. His triple scored Dave Valley. And a fastball right in there makes it 3-2. Schaefer appeared to be taking all the way.
With a guy like Schaefer, you're not trying to get fancy. He might just throw this right down the middle.
He did. Schaefer trying to get a walk, took a strike at the knees, and the inning is over. But Seattle adds another run on a walk and a triple. In the middle of the second, it's 2-0 Mariners. Two to nothing Seattle as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball, and it may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball. So don't do it. Top of the order. No, that's not true. Middle of the order for Texas, and Julio Franco files the first one off for strike one. Franco hitting .299, 7 homers and 56 RBIs. And over the last 45 games, he's hit .323. Rounded to third. Jeff Schaefer, and one away.
Most of the balls hit off of Swift will be on the ground. He has excellent sinker ball. He keeps the ball down by the knees, and a sinker baller that keeps the ball down will get most of the balls hit on the ground. You won't see a lot of fly balls off of this guy.
Harold Baines hitting .293, having a good year, and recently the Baines bunch has been happy because Harold has raised his average from .219 to .293 over his last 64 games, hitting .332. I mean, this late in the season to raise your average that many points is something. And he likes to hit against Bill Swift. He's hit .423 against Swift, and he hits one well the other way. Riley going back, out of here. Harold Baines with his 13th home run, and it's 2-1 Seattle.
Now that's something out of the norm. You don't see guys hit the ball the other way with that kind of power. That ball was sinking away, and he just stroked it. And I mean, he hit it. He hit the ball like a right-hander would hit it.
Well, our stats man Frazier, of course, went nuts. I mean, he virtually called that, pointing out how well Baines has hit against Bill Swift. It's things like that that make a stats man's night, you know. Pete Incaviglia up the middle and by Swift. However, Harold Reynolds No, he pulled the first baseman, Martinez, off the bag. Swift had a shot at it. Reynolds still had time to get Incaviglia, but the throw was wide.
Well, I don't know what they're going to give him. They could very easily give 2 errors on this. The pitcher should have caught it. Wasn't hit that hard. He got jammed. He kind of flinched a little bit. And then, of course, Reynolds threw the ball underhand, and he just pulled him off a little bit. Looks to me that that toe may have been on there. But the umpire was a lot closer.
Yeah, it's going to be an error on Reynolds on the throw. And here's Gino Petrelli. That's the first error of the game. Petrelli hitting .250 with no homers and 19 RBIs. And he has been on fire. .405 in his last 13 games. Fouled off hard the other way, 1-1.
We'll take a look at that play again at first base, and we'll see if he was on there. Boy, I tell you, I think he may have had his toe on there.
Yeah, it looked like his toe came off after he caught the ball. However, Darrell Cousins, a very experienced American League umpire, saw it the other way.
So then it doesn't matter what we say.
No, it doesn't matter what happened, really. I'll tell you what might have happened there. The umpires are trained to look at the bag and watch, and listen for the ball hitting the first baseman's glove. That throw by Baines was so looped and soft, there may not have been a sound for Cousins to go by, and he saw the foot come off the bag and made the call accordingly. Grounded to first. 1 is all they will get as the ball not sharply hit. Incaviglia forced at second for the second out of the inning, and Petrelli reaching on the fielder's choice. And that brings up rookie Gary Green, who's batting .196.
Also on that play, the second base right there, where I want to call him Visquel for some reason. It's Visquel.
Well, it looks like Visquel.
Okay. Well, when the ball bounces like that and it takes a long time, they don't usually like to come across that bag and throw the ball because it's too close with that runner coming down there. He really nails him.
Ball 1. A lot of times you'll see a shortstop hit the bag and then back off if he has a lot of time. But Incaviglia was right on him. 2-0. Swift is allowed to run on 2 hits, of course, giving up the home run to Harold Baines, the only run he has allowed, and it's only the 4th home run that Swift has given up in 103 innings of work. And along with the very few walks, those are impressive numbers.
Well, one of the reasons why he doesn't give up many home runs is because he keeps that ball down. And that home run just hit off of him was down. It was down and away. And you just don't see guys going out getting that outside pitch like that and hitting it that hard. It's another good reason why you pitch inside, to keep him from doing that. I guess I'm going to live on that.
That's right. Well, you had a pretty fair career pitching that way. I mean, it'd be hard to argue with your success. Two out. Gino Petrelli at first, and a 3-1 count to Gary Green. 3-2. Gary Pettis, the leadoff hitter, is on deck. And the fans here in Texas have our least favorite thing going.
I thought that went out. You don't see that too often anymore.
No, foul outside third.
At least I hope it goes out.
Not only that, but I mean, let's face it, we're not near the ocean here. I mean, Lake Grand Prairie is about as close as you're going to get here. There aren't any waves except when a boat goes by. but they are doing it.
Well, I guess they're doing it basically because of the Gulf of Mexico. It's not too far from here.
Well, it's a few hundred miles. Here's some water. There you go. A little canal there. I guess it counts. It shouldn't, but I guess it does. Still 3-2 as Green fouls another one off. This one in play, and Jeff Schaefer will take care of it, and the inning is over. A hit, an error, one left. Harold Baines' home run makes it 2-1 Seattle after 2.
Bob Welch after win number 21 as the A's take on the White Sox at Comiskey Park, and he's got a 2-run cushion. Darren Lewis to Scott Fletcher. The ball eats him up. It's not an error. It's a base hit. It scores Willie Randolph, who had tripled. 2-0 A's in the third. Let's go back to Arlington.
Thanks, Bill. Steve Zabriskie and Bob Gibson with you here in Arlington, where we are going to the third inning. The Mariners lead the Rangers 2-1, and the top of the order, and Harold Reynolds, who flied to right field leading off the ball game, and he's going to fly out again. And Cavilla coming in, but Gary Green gets there first and makes the play. One away. Nolan Ryan, 1 year ago tonight, recorded his 5,000th strikeout on a 3-2 pitch to Ricky Henderson of the A's. Ryan blew him away. And a lot of people for a lot of years thought that Walter Johnson's record of over 3,000 wouldn't be touched. Ryan struck out Danny Heap of the Mets in Houston for his 4,000th. And 1 year ago tonight recorded number 5,000. Doesn't seem like a year ago, does it?
Not to me. Every day just zips by anymore. I think it has something to do with what do you call that?
Getting old?
Yeah,
No. Older.
Yeah, 2 years ago just was yesterday.
Well, I wonder if it seems like it was a year ago to Nolan. He didn't worry about a lot of those kinds of things, though. Riley with a ground ball towards second. Julio Franco throws him out. 2 out in the third.
Now there's a case of the interference that helped the infielder. Usually when a pitcher touches a ball coming back through the box like this, it'll mess things up. But that ball would have gone through for a base hit. He deflected it right over toward Franco, who could make the play and throw him out easily.
2 out, nobody on for Ken Griffey, who drove in the first Mariners run in the first inning after Briley had tripled. Griffey grounded to second to get him home and pick up the RBI. Ball 1.
That ball there was a couple of inches inside, and I really don't see how hitters see that well where they can lay off a pitch like that. Of course, you know, if you're not looking for a ball inside, you're not going to swing at it.
Ball 2 outside. Well, they say there that it is stop Griffey time. Well, Griffey's been stopped lately. He was stopped before he got here. He's won for his last 19. But you have this fine young player and think that he is the guy on this ball club that you would not want to have beat you. Not that they don't have other talented players, but he's already demonstrated in only his second year that he potentially could be one of the best. But you got to do it over a long period of time, Bob, as you know, to really prove yourself in this game.
Yeah, we have a tendency now to make heroes out of people that are pretty much just born, more or less, you know. And instead of waiting to see, we like to project that this guy is going to be a superstar or he's going to accomplish this. And it's really unfair to the individual.
Seen a lot of guys struggle in their careers because they've been saddled with the horrible label of potential. And Griffey, who is really struggling, is down on strikes. Strikeout number 4 for Ryan. And in the middle of the third, Seattle leads it 2-1.
Join ESPN's Baseball Tonight Friday for the battle atop the American League East. Rocket Roger Clemens tries to mow down the power of George Bell, while left-hander Jimmy Key will try and keep Wade Boggs off the base path. The Red Sox and Jays, 7:30 Friday. Some will see the Reds and Pirates.
That'll be a good one. The Red Sox and the Blue Jays from Toronto in the Sky Dome. In fact, I have the honor of being there. Game 2 Friday night, the Mets and the Dodgers from Los Angeles on our Friday night ESPN baseball doubleheader. Gary Pettis leading off the 3rd inning for the Rangers. Single to right, but was stranded at first in the 1st inning. And he takes a strike, and it's 1-1.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why Pettis has taken anything off of Swift, because he doesn't walk anybody. And Pettis has a reputation of striking out quite a bit. It seems to me that he would jump right on the first ball that was over the plate.
Well, he apparently is trying to bunt his way on, and he may do it. He does. Schaefer did all he could do coming in and barehanding the ball, but Pettis is 2 for 2 with a bunt single.
Now I know why he was taking the first pitch. He was looking for a breaking ball, and a breaking ball is easier to bunt than a fastball. He was looking for something nice and soft, and he got it.
And why, do you ask, is a breaking ball better and easier to bunt? It's already going down.
And it's thrown a little softer. You have a little longer to look at it.
Jeff Houston struck out in the 1st inning. Pettis at first with nobody out. Seattle leading 2-1. Ripped towards second and off the glove of Reynolds into right field. Pettis will go to 3rd. First and 3rd with nobody out, and we'll see how they score it.
The ball was hit awfully hard. However, it should have been made. The play should have been made.
Well, they have not posted an error as yet, but if they do, it'll be the 2nd of the game against Harold Reynolds, who made an error last inning. And they've given Houston a base hit. I agree with you, Gibby. I think the play should have been made. Rafael Palmeiro flying to shallow left field in the 1st inning. 1 ball, no strikes, nobody out, and Texas with runners at 1st and 3rd. Well hit to left field. Briley back short of the track, makes the catch. Pettis will tag and score as the throw goes into 2nd, and the game is tied at 2. The sacrifice fly for Palmeiro, his 73rd RBI.
Well, the ball was hit deep enough there where you just, not much you can do about it. Just throw it back in and try to keep the guy from advancing to second base. That's all you can do with that.
Ruben Sierra ended the 1st inning by grounding out to Reynolds at second base. Inside and off the glove of Valley, but not far enough for Houston to be able to advance. Ball 1. Sierra has not only had a 7-game hitting streak upon which he's working, he's had a base hit in 27 of his last 29 games. Grounded to second, and it could be 2. Vizquel completes the double play, and the inning is over. But Texas ties the game with a run on 2 hits here in the 3rd and a sacrifice fly. 2-2 after 3.
Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's and catch all the action. It's time for Domino's Pizza. And by Levi's, 505 and 506 jeans.
Top of the fourth inning, and Alvin Davis to lead it off for the Seattle Mariners, and he takes a strike from Nolan Ryan. Ryan struck Davis out, swinging to end the first inning. A 2-2 tie here in Arlington. Got jammed and popped. It's playable in foul territory for Gino Petralli. One away, and let's go back to the Baseball Tonight studios and get an update from Bill Patrick.
All right, Steve, we are going to Kansas City. The Royals and the Twins, George Brett, and the hits just keep on coming. For him, that is base hit number 2,660. He is 48th on the all-time hit list, passing the immortal Harry Heilman, who toiled for the Tigers and Reds in his career. It's a 2-2 game in Kansas City in the top of the third. Steve?
Thanks, Bill. Here's Tino Martinez, who grounded to short in the second inning, and he takes a big curveball for strike one. Martinez, who played 128 games in Calgary, never went more than 2 games in a row without a base hit. And he's almost picked up where he left off, although he's 0 for 2 tonight, and now he's down to 5 for 10 so far in the big leagues. 2 out here in the fourth.
I think he's going to find it just a little bit different here. You know, when you're in the minor leagues, you have 1 or 2 good pitchers that you'll face, but just about every ball club here has 3 pretty good starters. You're going to face one every night. Makes a difference.
You're not kidding. Henry Cotto struck out in the second, and Nolan bounced one up there. Since giving up the RBI triple to Vizquel in the second inning, Ryan has retired 6 in a row.
It doesn't appear to me that Ryan is throwing as hard as he usually throws.
He took something off that pitch, and Vizquel, or rather Cotto, was way out in front. It's 1-1.
Of course, it's not surprising either. It's pretty hot here, and I would imagine in Arlington he probably paces himself a little bit more.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, it's getting downright balmy here tonight. It's down to 94. It's about 100 today for the high. Cotto out of there, and again Ryan gets him swinging. Cotto not known for having a quick bat, and Nolan has struck out 5.
Second baseman, Julio.
Welcome back to Arlington. Steve Zabriskie and Bob Gibson with you on Baseball Tonight. It is a 2-2 tie as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Julio Franco to lead it off for the Rangers, grounded to third in the second. And he takes a strike from Bill Swift, who is locking horns with Nolan Ryan tonight. Franco with that unusual batting stance where he curls that bat around his head.
You've talked to most good hitting instructors, and they would tell youngsters never to copy a guy like Franco.
And as usual, we'll bring you up to date of scores that have happened and are happening around baseball tonight. And of course, Bill Patrick in the studio will be updating you as well. Inside. 2-1.
One of the reasons they tell you not to copy a guy like Franco, he has entirely too far to bring that bat before he can get it in the strike zone. He has to bring it from behind his head, cock it, and then, but he can do it.
Well, he's just right at the 300 mark. It works for him. But it's very unorthodox and very difficult. There's too much of a margin for error. Well, last time up, Harold Baines lost one to left. And you commented at the time, Bob, about how much power that takes to hit a ball that hard the other way. Baines crushed it, his 13th home run of the year. The Rangers added a run in the third to tie it at 2. Now Franco at first with nobody out for Baines. Outside, ball 1.
I was taking a look at that pitch the second time around, and it wasn't down nearly as much as I thought it was. It was outside, but it was up a little bit more.
One ball, no strikes. Franco will steal a base, 24 in 32 attempts. To put him in the top 10 in the American League. Not running. And Baines fouling it off. 1-1. I think that lady came close to having a heart attack right there. That ball hit that railing.
That's one thing. If you're going to sit in that first row, you're going to have to pay attention to the game.
I have seen two people seriously injured not watching the game and taking a foul ball in the face. And I'm telling you, those are good seats. But
Yeah.
Bill Swift had an even better seat recently when he took one off the noggin standing on the mound. Baines with a high chopper to first. Tino Martinez drops it. They still get Baines, who was not running hard.
See, now there's a perfect example when they tell you to always run it out. It looked like a routine out. Ball one hopper to the first baseman, but he dropped it. And in the kangaroo court, and that's a court that they have for the players, they kind of police themselves. Baines undoubtedly will get fined, and he might get fined by the manager. You never know.
Well, Baines is a designated hitter partially because he can't run all that well.
Oh, you mean he was wide open, huh?
He wasn't really wide open until about the last third of the way when he saw that Martinez had dropped the ball. Here's Incaviglia. He reached on an error on Harold Reynolds, and he takes inside ball one. Franco at second, one out.
Now Swift really shouldn't bother pitching to Incaviglia. He should more or less pitch around him, put him on. You don't want to do it intentionally, but maybe just not give him anything good to swing at, because this guy gets paid to break up ball games and to win games, and you don't want a guy like this beating you. You'd rather look down the lineup and see Petrelli hit than Incaviglia.
Incaviglia, a .333 career average against Swift, but he is only 3 for his last 31. And that'll be out of play for strike two, 1-2. Another concern on the part of the Rangers is that in this slump that Incaviglia's been in, he's also been in a power outage. He's only had 3 extra base hits in his last 22 games. And that's what they want him to do, is hit for power.
When these good hitters go into slumps, it's because they're not really focusing in on what the pitchers are doing. And the deeper they go into it, the worse pitches they swing at, and the more the pitchers are going to throw them junk where they won't get anything good to hit. And they get impatient. When you get impatient, you can do a lot of things to a hitter. For one thing, you don't bother to throw strikes.
Well, if a hitter doesn't make a pitcher throw strikes, he won't. Foul outside third.
Now we just saw something here. The camera couldn't see it, but we saw it looking at the field, where the second baseman is running over to the bag, and he's trying to keep Franco close out there, and the pitcher tried to rush and throw the ball while Franco was going back to the bag, and that's not good, because you don't make a good pitch when you're trying to rush to do things like that.
Not only that, Reynolds was out of position. 1-2, and a breaking ball grounded weakly to short. Vizquel over to Martinez. 2 away.
Enter Dino Petrelli.
So Incaviglia continues to struggle when they need him to drive in a run with a runner in scoring position in a tie game. He does not. And Gino Petrelli will be the hitter. Petrelli reaching on a fielder's choice in the second.
You know, you can pretty much tell that you were never a pitcher. You were an outfielder. You got to give that pitcher credit for making a pretty good.
Well, he didn't make a good one there, and his run will come home on the 2-out single. by Petrelli, and it is 3-2 Rangers.
Well, you look at the pitch, it's right down the middle, and everybody likes that ball right there. But that's the man you want to do it. You don't want the Incavillas to do it. Of course, you don't want either one of them to do it.
Nope. Well, you made the point when Incaviglia was batting, and that's the way it worked out. But Swift obviously would like to have that pitch back. Now here's Gary Green, and he grounds the first pitch, and it is a fair ball to third. Schaefer quickly ends the inning, but Texas takes the lead with a run on 2 hits in the fourth. They have come back from a 2-0 deficit to lead it by 1. 3-2 Texas as we go to the fifth here in Arlington. Dave Valley, Omar Vizquel, and Jeff Schaefer, the 3 scheduled hitters for the Mariners. And Valley takes inside ball 1. Valley walked and scored in the second inning, driven in by Omar Vizquel's triple. Just what a catcher wants to do, score from first. Well hit to center field. Pettis going back, and it is gone off the top of the wall for a home run. Dave Valley, with his 6th home run of the year, reties the game at 3.
Well, he got all of it. Ball's up just a little bit in the strike zone, just a little bit inside. And he seems to be a happy customer.
Ryan has only given up 3 hits, but they have been 2 triples and a home run.
Take a look at this pitch. There it is, right over the middle of the plate. One thing I give him, it was out of the way, and he didn't try to pull it. Not too many guys are going to hit it that hard to center.
Yeah, he juiced it. Vizquel had a triple to drive Valley in the second.
You don't seem to have any problem with his name.
I practiced. Good breaking ball. 0-2. The secret is don't look at it. When you look at it, it messes you up.
Yeah.
Little room service hop for the fan in the first row. Curveball fouled off the other way. Still 0-2. Seattle led 2-0. They scored single runs in the first and the second inning. And the Rangers came back with single runs in the third and the fourth, or second and the third rather, and added a run in the fourth to take the lead. Now Valley's home run here in the fifth has retied it. Ryan had been getting the leadoff hitter in every inning until this inning when Valley homered.
You know, everybody talks about Ryan and his records that he's been setting over the years, and at the 42, nobody talks about pitching in 94-degree weather and pitching down here in Texas. That in itself is quite an accomplishment.
That's right. People did mention it a little bit. Some people mentioned it briefly when he pitched for Houston for so many years and had the air conditioning of the dome and everything, but he's just an amazing human being. Still 94. A high breaking ball grounded to second. Julio Franco to Palmeiro. 1 away, and let's go back to the studio for an update from Bill Patrick. Bill.
All right, Steve, the White Sox trying to sweep the Oakland A's, but they've got a ways to go. Mike Gallego with a sacrifice fly to center. The throw home. Felix Jose is safe. Willie Randolph tries to take second, and he's a dead duck. But the A's and Bob Welch lead 3-0 in the fifth. Steve?
Thanks, Bill. Those two teams are probably going to fight all the way down to the wire in the American League West. It's one of the reasons why the Rangers and the Mariners are struggling in the division. There's a liner. Incaviglia can't come up with it. And Schaefer will be aboard with a line drive single.
Incaviglia has improved quite a bit as a fielder in the outfield. He was a little reluctant to come in on that ball, and I can understand why. You don't want the ball to get by. And he just was unsure whether or not he could make that play, so he didn't come full tilt at it.
It's a base hit all the way, the 4th for the Mariners. And to the top of the order, and Harold Reynolds, who's 0 for 2. He is flying to right and popped out in short left field to the shortstop, Gary Green. Ball 1. Two balls and no strikes. Reynolds with just 2 hits in his last 24 at bats. Intently studying Bill Plummer, the Mariners' third base coach. With Schaefer at first and 1 out. Schaefer running and a line drive to left field. Incaviglia in, makes the catch. And Schaefer, who was all the way to second, goes back, and I think Incaviglia thought there were 3 out. He's running in with the ball. Well, Nolan Ryan has had what I guess you could call a Texas Twister type of season. In April, he was awesome. May, back problems contributed to that. And in June, he started to right the ship a little bit. July, the ERA went up, but look at the record, 4-0, and the strikeouts between June and July, 89 strikeouts in those 2 months. Now here in August, he started to struggle a little bit again. Since he won his 300th game, he has lost his last 2 starts, and he finds himself now in a 3-3 tie. 2 out in the 5th, and the batter Greg Briley. Schaefer running, and he's out. A home run on Valley's leadoff homer reties the game. It's 3-3 in the middle of the 5th.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Gold MasterCard, the best gold card to master the moment.
3-3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning here in Arlington. Top of the order, and Gary Pettis for the Texas Rangers. Pettis is 2 for 2. Entered the game in a slump, but had a single to right and a bunt base hit in the 3rd when he scored a run, driven in on a sacrifice fly by Palmeiro. And again, he shortens up, but he takes it, and it's a strike. 1-1. No one has ever questioned Gary Pettis' defensive abilities. His problems have been offensive, and the way he runs, if he could get on more often, he'd be a real threat.
He's one of those guys that was touted to be a superstar, and that's when he started off with California over there, and he just never did develop the batting skills that they thought he could, and especially with the way he can run. He can bunt almost 300.
That one might have hit him, and it did. Well, for a guy who possesses outstanding control, Bill Swift has had some problems in this department.
Well, he tried to throw a breaking ball there. It looked like a slider. Sometimes you hold on to that slider just a little bit too long, and when you do, that's what happens. It'll hit the ground up in front of the plate, and if you throw enough of them, you're going to do it once in a while.
He's now hit 6 batters and thrown 7 wild pitches. Meanwhile, he's hardly walked anybody. Jeff Houston 1 for 2. He tries to bunt, but bunts it foul, and with this bat in foul territory, that's about all he's going to do. Arlington forever. The Rangers are talking about a new stadium and leaving their only home since they came here as the Washington Senators many years ago. And the word is it's either going to be here, downtown Dallas, or near Texas Stadium where the Cowboys play football in Irving. Now, both those other locations are east of where we are right now, and there's a lot of opposition to that, especially folks in Fort Worth and the surrounding area who have the proximity of this ballpark.
Well, either place is going to be hot.
Yeah, because they're not going to build a dome stadium. One would think they might, given the conditions. There are no day games here in Texas, even on Sundays. They don't want turf. And I'll guarantee you, you don't want turf without a dome in this climate, where nobody could walk on it. It's bad enough in St. Louis and Cincinnati in the middle of summer.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about St. Louis. I can remember when Lou Brock used to put styrofoam in the bottom of his shoes to keep the spikes, the metal coming through the spikes, from burning his feet.
Way outside, and it's 1-2. Well, it can be 130, 140 degrees on the surface of the turf in the sun. But they're going to build an old style ballpark here, meaning natural grass and open air, although it'll be a new modern park. Similar to what's going on in Baltimore and with the Chicago White Sox. But where will it be? It's another one of those things, though, where you're not going to please everybody no matter what you do, so it's tough. They're hoping to finish it in time for the 1995 All-Star game, which they would probably host. Outside, 2-2. And they're planning on the 93 All-Star game being in Baltimore in that new ballpark down by the Inner Harbor. It's scheduled to be completed in 92. And I was just there. In fact, you were there recently with me.
Yeah,
they're moving a lot of dirt.
They're building something over there.
They're doing some work. Pettis getting some attention from Swift. Two balls, two strikes, nobody out. And a foul. Houston, having quite an at-bat here, was down, no balls and two strikes. But he's battling, and so is Swift. A 3-3 tie in the bottom of the fifth. Grounded through the hole. Pettis will have to stop at second as Henry Cotto's on it in a hurry. A hit batter and a base hit, and it's first and second with nobody out for the Rangers. We're in Arlington Stadium. Arlington, surprisingly. Steve Zabriskie and Bob Gibson with you on Baseball Tonight. Seattle and Texas tied at 3 as Nolan Ryan and Bill Swift go at it. Sunday night baseball this week will be from Tiger Stadium in Detroit, where the world champion Oakland A's will take on Cecil Fielder and the Tigers. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Join us here on ESPN for Sunday night baseball. So here's Rafael Palmeiro. He drove in a run in the third with a sacrifice fly to deep left field, his 73rd RBI of the year. He's batting .325 with runners in scoring position. And he takes the ball.
Here's a situation where you go to the meeting that you had. Every team has a meeting the first time in, the first game in a series, and you talk about the hitters and when you're in trouble where to go to get them out. You don't pitch those guys those ways all the time, because then it won't be anything which you can go to. But right now you can go to that point and maybe get this guy out.
The runners were going with a count of 1 ball, no strikes, and Palmeiro fouled it off. I like that play. Hit and run with runners at first and second, and you really don't see it that much.
especially with a left-hand hitter up there. All you need to do is pitch out and get that guy going to third, but they teach those guys to throw the bat at the ball and possibly hit it.
Well, you got a guy in Palmeiro who doesn't strike out a lot. Bobby Valentine is not exactly what you'd call a timid manager, to say the least. Line drive to left. Briley makes the catch and the runners go back. So Palmeiro hit it well, but it's out number one. Pettis will remain second and Houston at first.
And Swift is pitching Palmeiro pretty much the way we were talking about. Pitch him away and let him hit out there.
He's hit all three balls to left field. Ruben Sierra has grounded to second twice, and the last time was a double play. Sierra's been on a tear, even though he's 0 for 2 tonight. Outside. Ruben's only hitting .362 with runners in scoring position. Not too shabby.
But the pitcher doesn't know this. He doesn't keep up with those stats.
And he doesn't care.
He has to go to whatever he has.
Fouled off the plate, and it's 1-1.
But you don't, in this situation, you don't get foolish and try strength against strength. You go to where you need to go to get this guy out. If he's a low ball hitter and you're a low ball pitcher, then you can't throw anything high, but you can go to breaking stuff. You can go to off speed stuff. You don't want to challenge him with a low fastball when you know that he's a low fastball hitter.
Really what it boils down to, and I guess just looking at the way you pitched, Bob, you would agree with this. It's just a series of one-on-one confrontations as far as the pitcher's concerned. You just can't look at it in terms of overall situation. This one is hit deep to right center, off the base of the wall. Pettis scores. Houston held at third. It's 4-3 Texas as Sierra drives in run number 78.
Tell you what, Ken Griffey made one of the best plays that any youngster I've ever seen. That ball was hit over his head, and he realized that he couldn't make the catch. He slid on the ground. He caught the ball off of the wall on one bounce. You'll take a look at this. He's going to hit the wall, one bounce right back to him. He's going to catch it before it hits the ground. And a good throw into second base to head off that second run.
That's the reason Houston didn't score. Well, there's a meeting on the mound, so we'll take this time to jump back to the studio for an update from Bill Patrick.
All right, Steve, it looks like the White Sox are coming unglued against the A's. Carney Lansford with a ball that eludes Frank Thomas at first. Ricky Henderson is going to come all the way around to score because of this throw by Sammy Sosa, just a teeny bit off the mark. Henderson scores. Lansford then scored on a wild pitch, and it's 5-0 Oakland. Bob Welch in control. Let's go back to Arlington.
Thanks, Bill. Boy, I'll tell you what. I think Sammy muscled up on that throw to third a little bit. Well, Keith Comstock is up and throwing now in the Seattle bullpen as Jim Lefebvre went to the mound to find out Bill Swift's situation and buy some time. The double by Sierra, scoring Pettis to break the tie and make it 4-3 Rangers. Julio Franco, the hitter, he is 1 for 2. Had a base hit and scored a run in the 4th inning. Franco with a .333 average with runners in scoring position. Scoring runs has not been the Rangers' problem. They got some offense. It's the defense that has killed them, and some up and down pitching.
Well, without good defense, you're going to have up and down pitching.
Yep, that's right. It makes your pitching a lot worse. I think the problem the Rangers have is one that everybody in baseball has, except for a few teams, and that's finding good, strong middle relief. Franco held up, and the count now 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, you usually can find And that's because the middle relief is so important these days. It used to be that it wasn't that important, but it is the way the game is played today. You can always find one or two good starter, and you can also find a good closer. You can find a guy that throws the ball hard and it'll close, but to get the guys in between that's going to hold that other ball club, it's difficult.
Out of play behind the Rangers dugout. It's 2-1. The Mariners are not expecting Julio Franco to pull the ball. Greg Briley is almost in left center field defensively. You just saw him on the edge of your picture there. Griffey way over toward right center, and Cotto is playing pretty much straight away in right field. And yet they're pitching him inside.
Well, I really don't understand that.
3-1.
You play him away, you pitch him away. You play him, if you pitch him inside, and the chances are he's going to pull the ball. Well, maybe we'll take a look. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe the ball that you throw him inside, he hits to the opposite field, but I sure wouldn't want to take a chance on it. They're back in there again.
And he pulls it to short. Sierra chased back, and Franco retired. But on the play, Jeff Houston comes home with run number 5. It's 5-3 Texas. And an RBI for Franco, his 57th of the year. And that'll bring up Harold Baines, who homered in the second inning and grounded to first in the fourth. Baines is going to be walked intentionally with 2 out to put the force back in effect.
Well, you have a base open. You have a left-hand hitter up there. There's no reason not to walk him. You'd rather face that right-hander, even though it is Incaviglia.
And Incaviglia, as we've mentioned, has really been struggling, and Baines has been on fire. So the choice is even easier under those circumstances. I wonder if Incaviglia were batting ahead of Baines, if they would walk Pete to get the Herald in this situation.
I don't think so.
I doubt it.
I don't think so.
No. They'd pitch and take their chances. So runners at first and second with 2 out. 2 runs in here in the 5th. And here's Inky, who is 0 for 2. He reached on an error and grounded to short. That intentional walk to Baines, the first walk issued by Bill Swift. And as we pointed out earlier, that's nothing unusual. A breaking ball that's just a little bit low, ball 1.
Prior to this game, he had walked 15 people in 101 innings. 12 of them were unintentionally and 3 intentionally. Now he has 4 that are intentional.
Oh, baby. Right on the elbow. Now, the crowd's going to get all over, and Incaviglia is going to say something, but there's no intent there. Bobby Valentine's coming out. Petralli's going to help Incaviglia, but Pete's got to know that there's no reason, there's no way that Swift wants to hit him. Unless there's something here that goes way back that we don't know about.
Well, you know, it just goes to show that there's so much mess going on as far as this hitting guys are concerned. How do you expect to play a baseball game and never get hit? And how do you expect a pitcher to throw the ball where he wants to every single time? It's impossible. It's just impossible. And if you want to storm around here and act like a child, then I guess it's all right. There's a ball now. That ball is inside. Hit him on his hand. But there's no way that that ball was thrown at him. And I think the fans are the ones who also agitate the players into doing things like that.
Well, I think there's a certain, shall we say, hockey mentality. Fans want to see fights. It's unfortunate, but true. Swift is out of the game. Comstock is in, and we'll be back in just a minute.
There are moments when Gold MasterCard makes a difference. It gives you nearly 3 times the acceptance of American.
Into the game in relief of Bill Swift and Gino Petralli, the hitter, with the bases loaded and 2 out in the 5th inning. 5-3 Texas. Foul back and the count 2 balls 1 strike.
See Comstock's record there is 5-3. ERA is 2.25. Got quite a few base on balls for innings pitched. That's not good.
Even though he also has quite a few strikeouts for innings pitched, but that ratio is not a good one. Petralli tonight is 1 for 2, reached on a fielder's choice and had an RBI single to center in the 4th. Well hit to center field. Griffey over, makes the catch, and the inning is over. However, the Rangers score 2 and leave the bases loaded. 2 hit batters in the inning and 2 hits. 5-3 Rangers after 5. Inning number 6 here in Arlington, and it's cooling off tremendously. It's down to a balmy 93 now. 100 here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area today and 97 at game time. But do they care? No, they're having a good time because Nolan Ryan is on the hill and the Rangers are leading 5-3. Jack Doherty into the game in left field, replacing Incaviglia for the Rangers. And there's what Ryan has done through the first 5. Greg Briley will lead off the 6th inning for the Mariners. He has tripled and grounded to second. And the breaking ball is low, ball 1.
You know, one thing about Nolan Ryan, as great a pitcher as he has been, he is not the kind of pitcher that cannot win when he doesn't have good stuff. And one of the reasons why is because of the fastball that he throws. In 90% of the time, he throws a 4 seams across the seam, the fastball that goes up. He does not throw the sinker ball. And if you throw a sinker ball, you can get by a lot better than that fastball that rises when you don't have good stuff. And so that's the reason he doesn't win.
And he gives up home runs when that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas a sinker baller with that heavy ball doesn't give up near as many.
If you grab it and hold it across seams and with the seams, you get the ball to react 2 different ways. And he never did perfect the sinker ball type of motion with it. That would help him on days that he didn't have good stuff. Of course, it's too late now, huh?
Well, also, it hadn't hurt him a whole lot. I mean, you know, he's got an express ticket to Cooperstown whenever he decides to finally hang it up. 3-1 pitch hit in the air to right field. Ruben Sierra hardly has to move. 1 away. And that'll bring up Ken Griffey.
Center fielder Ken Griffey.
Gino Petralli right now I think is concerned about Ryan. Petralli went all the way the other side of the mound towards second base to talk to Ryan during that play. And Bobby Valentine may be discussing that right now. But they keep a close watch on Nolan because they don't want to mess too much with the recurring back problem. Griffey pops it up. Petralli may have a play, but no. Griffey 0 for 2. He has grounded out and struck out, but he did drive in a run with his ground out in the first inning. One out, nobody on. 5-3 Texas, top of the 6th. Griffey to bunt. Takes the ball. 1-1. Now, if Ken Griffey were swinging the bat well, he might have just hammered that pitch. It was about thigh high and over the middle of the plate. But with Nolan Ryan, you may not be able to get around on it well enough to hammer it too. But that was a hittable pitch that was fouled off. It's 1-2. Grounded to second. Not an easy play for Franco, but he gets it. Good play by Julio as Griffey can get down the line. 2 away.
Franco was able on this play to stop, plant himself, and get something on the ball. Now, if he had to continue to move without stopping, he would not have been able to get enough on the ball to throw Griffey out.
Constantly amazes people, especially those who are not familiar with baseball, how a runner can be 2 steps from the bag when the guy throws the ball and the runner can be out. You just can't outrun that thrown baseball when it's thrown well. Alvin Davis over. He has struck out swinging and popped out to Petrale in foul territory. Just outside, 1-1. Nolan Ryan has retired 11 of the last 13 that he has faced. Two and 1.
He's definitely doing a little more pitching today than he ordinarily does. He's just not depending on that high rider and the curveball. He's moving the ball around a bit, and he's doing some things.
This ball ripped down the line. It's a fair ball right on the line. Davis does not run well, and he's going to have to hurry to get into second, and he makes it. A 2-out double by Alvin Davis that just caught the chalk down the right field line.
Take a look at it, especially Davis running. If we can see him come around the bag, which I don't think we can. Rather than to pull out around the bag and make the turn, he goes to the bag and makes a 90-degree turn, and that's one of the reasons why he doesn't get much. Of course, that's not the reason he's not fast, but it's one of the reasons why he didn't run the bases very well.
Why he almost didn't make it to second. Well, it's been extra base hit night for the Mariners. Even though they're trailing in the ball game, they've had 2 triples, now a double, and a home run. And of their now 5 hits, only 1 single. Here's Tino Martinez, 0 for 2 with a ground out to short and a ground out to second. Too high with the heat. Ball 1. Martinez 5 for 8 coming into this game, but he may be a little bit more anxious and nervous as he might have been in his previous games because of who's on the hill.
Oh yeah, that happened. That has a lot to do with how a hitter, especially a young hitter, reacts. Get a little nervous. The name Nolan Ryan, and of course the stuff too.
Yeah,
he still throws pretty well.
Down low.
There's that pitch I said he didn't have, the sinker ball.
Yeah, he's working on everything tonight. 3-0 to Martinez, who was one of those guys that was not even born when Ryan started in the big leagues. Was that ball 4?
Must have been. Didn't anybody know it? The umpire didn't even know it.
Oh, maybe Nolan went to his mouth while he was on the mound.
That could have been.
It could have been that Ryan went to his mouth while he was on the dirt. And that's the ball, and that would have been ball 4. I think that's the case because we were with every pitch, we thought. Larry Young, the home plate umpire, apparently making the call. So Petrale wants to go out and be sure that Ryan is going to be not too upset.
I don't think that's going to bother him. You know, these umpires don't miss anything, do they? You can't get away with anything out there on them.
Here's Jeffrey Leonard coming out to pinch hit for Henry Cotto. Jeffrey, don't call me Jeff, is not exactly one of the most successful hitters against Nolan Ryan. Struck out 21 times against Ryan. Let's take a look at the replay and see if we can pick up where Nolan might have gone to his mouth with his pitching hand. And he probably did this totally absent-mindedly.
The umpire's not thinking. He's thinking about it right there, too. He says he's doing something wrong out there, and I'm not sure what. Oh, I know what he did. He went to his mouth. Ball 4.
So here's Jeffrey. And he fouled the first pitch back for strike 1.
Yeah, Jeffrey Leonard is always going to have trouble with a guy that throws as hard as Nolan Ryan does, because Jeffrey has a real long swing. And anytime you find a guy with a long swing, you just can't catch up with that fastball, that good fastball. And the guy that's got the slider speed, he'll hit it and he'll kill him. But that good fastball, especially the one up in the strike zone, he will not hit.
This is Leonard's first pinch hit appearance of the year, and you might think you're going to see a lot of high inside heat here. No, he threw him a breaking ball down and away. And he appealed to Darryl Cousins, who says no, he did not swing. So it's 1-1. And you can see that one flap down has been grounded lately. 3 for his last 26. Curveball, check swing, pop up. Playable. Palmeiro takes charge and the inning is over. A hit, a walk, and 2 left in the inning for Seattle. In the middle of the 6th, it's still a 2-run Texas lead. It was Roberto Kelly night tonight. Tonight it's baseball tonight here in Arlington, Texas. Steve Zabriskie and Bob Gibson with you, where it is a 5-3 Ranger lead over the Mariners as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Gary Green to lead it off. He has grounded to third twice, something that is not totally foreign to Mr. Green, who in his early days here with the Rangers has been pulling everything. That one he was a little better on and fouled it straight back. It's 0-2. Keith Comstock working in relief of Bill Swift. Swift went 4 2/3 innings, charged with 5 runs on 7 hits. To make that 8 hits. He struck out 1 and he walked 1. That walk was intentional. Sounded like he broke his bat, but guess what? He pulled it over the third baseman's head. So he will need a new bat. I guess when he finally figures out if he's going to stay in the big leagues, he's going to get a lower number.
Yeah.
He's got one of those spring training numbers on.
I used to go to spring training whenever they gave me a number up in the 50s. I knew that I was just only going to be there for 2 or 3 days, and then I was going to go over to that other camp.
The only other guys that wear those are instructors. You got one of those numbers, you may not be around long. After Green, the top of the order, Gary Pettis and Jeff Houston against Comstock. Just inside, 1-2.
Well, they're pitching Green inside. And I guess that's a reason for him to pull the ball. I just think that's playing the game the wrong way. The inside part of pitching. You pitch in, but you come in. You don't pitch in. And they seem to be pitching in, and that's probably why you see so many home runs today and so many guys getting hits that probably shouldn't get hits.
Yeah. And so many guys getting angry that they're pitching inside because it's not such an occasional thing. Green reaches out and pulls an outside pitch down the third base line, and Jeffrey Leonard hauls it in. Leonard replacing Henry Cotto in the lineup, but now playing left field with Briley moving to right. And here's Gary Pettis. Pettis tonight is 2 for 2, plus he was hit by a pitch and he scored 2 runs. Off-speed pitch for strike 1. One out, nobody on. Fastball is high. Ball 1, 1-1. Skied down the right field line. Briley makes the play for out number 2. Well, baseball tonight has 2 doubleheaders during the week. One is on Friday, the other is on Tuesday. And game 1 next Tuesday night will find the East leading Boston Red Sox in Cleveland to take on the Indians. Some of you will see the Dodgers at Philadelphia. That's at 7:30 Eastern time. Game 2, Detroit at Seattle, where these Mariners will host the Tigers. Some of you will see these Texas Rangers in California at the Big A take on the Angels. Tuesday night doubleheader here on ESPN. Jeff Houston takes a breaking ball for a strike. Houston 2 for 3. Struck out in the first inning, but has singled to right twice and scored a run. Punches one back out of play for strike 2. I think he was fooled on both those breaking balls.
Yeah, you know, when you find a left-hander like Houston that chokes up a little bit and facing a left-hand pitcher that has a good breaking ball, you're not going to see a real good swing at anything.
And then he mows him down with the heat for strike 3. First strikeout for Comstock as he retires Texas in order in the 6th. Mariners still lead it by 2, however. Baseball tonight on ESPN from Arlington Stadium in Arlington, Texas. 5-3 Texas leading Seattle as we go to the 7th inning, and Nolan Ryan with a breezer for Dave Valley, who homered his last time up. All part of the game.
That's a good one there, and the ball's far enough away where it's not going to hit anybody, but you kind of get the idea.
I didn't appreciate you hitting that pitch over the fence, sir. Thank you. Now let's get back to play the game. And he brings one right down the middle of the freeway with something on it.
I always like it too when the hitters get just a little bit angry and they get a little bit over anxious and they'll overswing, and whenever they overswing they never hit the ball.
Valley just looking right out there at Ryan, and Ryan just looking right in there. This is good.
You want to go get him going out there.
And he gives him the curveball for strike 2.
That ought to be a good one. Well,
Ryan's,
you know, when you throw a fastball 95 miles an hour and then you throw a curveball like he has, it's going to be tough.
And he just misses. Ryan now has thrown 92 pitches, and you may have seen that graphic quickly that Nolan Ryan has had opponents hit only 170 against him after his 90th pitch of a game. You think he loses it in the late innings? No way. Ground ball to short. And a throw off the bag. Palmeiro couldn't haul it in, and Valley's going to go to second. What should have been a routine out turns into a 2-base error on Gary Green.
Take a look at it. Got the ball in plenty of time. He took a little extra step and just heaved it over his head. That's all. Probably felt he had too much time. You know, it's good just to come up and throw that ball right away, but he took that extra step because he knew he had a lot of time. Sometimes it throws you off a little bit.
So Valley, instead of being the first out of the inning, is in scoring position for Omar Vizquel. And Vizquel squares and takes low ball 1. Vizquel has tripled in a run, and it was Valley in the 2nd inning. He is also grounded to second. They're looking for Vizquel to hit the ball the other way. And he bunts it back out of play for strike one, 1-1. Now, I understand that you want to maybe try to get a guy to third base with 1 out where he can score on something other than a base hit. But you got a rookie and your number 9 hitter coming up. And Vizquel has extra base power, and he's the tying run. I don't agree with bunting here.
No, I think he's doing that on his own.
Now he grounds it foul, and it's 1-2. Jeffcoat in the bullpen for Texas.
At least I hope he's doing it on his own.
Breaking ball grounded to second. Another tough play for Franco, and a little help from Palmeiro at the other end to get the out as Valley moves to third with 1 away.
This is one of the plays where Franco did not have time to stop and plant himself, and therefore he made a bad throw. But Palmeiro dug it out, no problem.
That wasn't an easy hop either, sort of an in-betweener. So another good play by Julio, who made a good one last inning on Ken Griffey. Petrali is out to talk to Ryan, and they're having a rather lengthy conversation. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Jeff Schaefer.
Most of the time when you do have a pinch hitter and you see the catcher go out and talk, they're just trying to review the hitter that's coming up and make sure you know how to pitch this guy. As long as you and your catcher agree on it, then you're going to probably have a little easier time of it.
Edgar Martinez will be the pinch hitter.
Edgar Martinez. Batting for Jeff Schaefer. Edgar Martinez batting for Schaefer.
Schaefer, a rookie, and he's been struggling, even though he did pick up a base hit in the 5th inning. So Jim Lefevre wanting to go with Martinez, who's hitting over 300 and is more experienced. A strike on the outside corner. Martinez does not have an official at bat as a pinch hitter before tonight. Driven to right field, but Ruben Sierra is right there. Here comes Dave Valley, but now he's going to go back. The throw was offline, and he might have made it, but he didn't want to take the chance. So 2 out, and Valley remains at third.
Sierra was not playing that deep out in right field, and you just do not want to take a chance on the arm that he has. He's got a great arm. The throw was off, but you can't tell that throw is going to be off. And as good as his arm is, he still may have been able to run back and tag him.
Bobby Valentine out for a very brief conference with Ryan. One thing that Bobby says is that I don't tell Nolan Ryan what to do, when to come out, how to work out, when to leave a game, unless it's just very obvious. Ryan pretty much knows himself. And after all these years, Bobby is smart enough to listen to what Nolan says about how he is.
Sure. You keep track of pitches. He's thrown 100 pitches. Sometimes he'll throw 150. Sometimes he'll throw 170. It really depends on how he feels.
This pitch goes all the way back, and now Valley will score as it bounced underneath Petrali. And it is now a 1-run game, 5-4 Texas, and it will be a wild pitch charged to Nolan Ryan. So the error allowed Valley to get on, a 2-base error. He went to third on Vizquel's ground out, and he scores on a wild pitch.
Can't really tell what that pitch was. It looked like a fastball. Usually the breaking ball is the one that gets away from the catcher, but that looked like a fastball. Nolan was trying to get it down and in for some reason and just didn't get it there.
So 2 out and nobody on for Harold Reynolds. Ball 2, no strikes. 2-1. Reynolds 0 for 3. Fastball lifted to center field. Gary Pettis over into left center. And the inning is over, but a run scores on a two-base error and a wild pitch. And in the middle of the 7th inning, it's Texas 5 and Seattle 4.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when. By Goodyear Wrangler Radials, the tires that will take you just about anywhere. But remember, tread lightly. By Nuprin, tell Nuprin where it hurts. And by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
Edgar Martinez remains in the game and will play third base in place of Jeff Schaefer, for whom he pinch hit. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, Rafael Palmeiro, the hitter, with the Rangers leading 5-4. Palmeiro has driven in a run with a sacrifice fly, but officially is 0 for 2. Has hit the ball to left field in the air all 3 times up. Rangers have fallen into what you might call Mariner-itis. Mariners have struggled scoring runs. There's Edgar Martinez at third. And the Rangers, over the last 8 games with runners in scoring position, have hit only 187. Again, Palmeiro goes to left field, and it's a foot or 2 foul, as Jeffrey Leonard couldn't get to it. Tonight, Palmeiro has come through with a runner in scoring position. Sierra has come through. And Franco has driven in a run with a ground out. So they're doing a little better than they have been lately. Well hit to center field. Griffey going back, way back, makes an unbelievable catch. Last minute, shall we say last second adjustment by Ken Griffey on the run to haul in a drive by Palmeiro.
Griffey he's one of those center fielders that does not play a deep center field. He's in relatively close. He had to run a long way for that ball, but you see here where he was running the wrong direction. He just reaches over and snaps it in. Nothing to it.
I'll tell you what, that's the second outstanding play he has made tonight. And when you've got it, you've got it. I mean, there's certain guys that just can play that outfield, and Griffey appears to be one of them.
And you can tell just talking to him before the ball game, he enjoys the game, and that's the primary thing you have to look for. Yeah, these guys are making a lot of money, and everybody knows that. That's a foregone conclusion there. But when they enjoy it, you're going to find a pretty good ball for it.
Ruben Sierra with a base hit to center field. Griffey has to make a little different kind of play, and Sierra picks up his second hit of the night. He'll be at first with 1 out. That's the first hit against Comstock and the 9th hit for the Rangers. And it brings up Julio Franco, who is 1 for 3. Activity now beginning in the Mariners bullpen again, as Comstock is taking a shot or 2. Gene Harris warming up as Franco takes a strike. Franco 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. One and one. Now Mike Jeffcoat has a little company in the bullpen. Kenny Rogers has joined him. Kenny, the left-hander. Inside, 2-1. Sierra doesn't run often, but when he does, he's successful. He's 6 for 6 this year in stolen base attempts. Rangers leading by 1, 5-4 with 1 out in the 7th.
You find a guy like Sierra that can run but doesn't run. When you get a close game like this where you need a base, this is the time they will run.
Julio trying to hit one somewhere in the neighborhood of Irving, Texas. Missed it. Right here you've got two guys who are among the league leaders in chains, with Sierra at first and Franco the hitter. These guys are wearing about 10 extra pounds tonight. If it snowed here, they'd be in good shape if they needed any extra traction going home.
They used to have a rule. Of course, I guess the rule there again only applies to the pitchers.
Of course, pitchers already have too much of an advantage.
That's
I've been
what
telling
they
you
keep
that for
saying.
years.
Whenever they want to change the game, whenever they want to make it better, they'll start right at the mound and they'll do something to a mound or
Right.
the pitcher.
Right.
Don't wear chains. If you're watching the chain, then you're in trouble to begin with.
High fly, short center field. Reynolds out, 2 away. Start calling those two the chain gang. Price of gold's been going down. I guess it's, you know, they've been buying up. Been going up lately since the Mideast crisis. Harold Baines with a home run, 1 for 2 plus a walk. He was walked intentionally in the 5th.
But the price of gold will have to go up so you can afford a gallon of gas.
Yeah, it may take an ingot to fill up. Funny how oils and gold usually move in the same direction. There goes Sierra, and the pitch is fouled off. With 2 out, Ruben now trying to get into scoring position, but Baines fouled it off for strike 2. Pull in the gas station, fill up the tank, and empty the trunk of money or gold bars or something. Still 0-2. Baines chases one out of the strike zone to end the inning. 1 hit and 1 left as Comstock picks up his 2nd strikeout. At the end of 7, it's still a 5-4 Texas lead. 8th inning here in Arlington, a 5-4 Rangers lead over the Mariners, and Greg Briley will lead it off for Seattle. And he takes a strike at the knees. Kenny Rogers into the game as the 3rd pitcher of the night. Excuse me, not the 3rd pitcher, the 2nd pitcher of the night, in relief of Nolan Ryan, who went 6, actually 7. Ryan leaving with an opportunity to win the game, but he cannot lose it.
Rogers is the guy that they go to save the ball games. See his numbers there. Every team's got one of them.
Got to have a closer. It's funny how you can't have too much pitching. If you have 2 closers, it always creates a problem. Sky to left field. Jack Doherty makes the catch. A little bit of a snow cone on another last-minute adjustment. Doherty, who replaced Incaviglia after Incaviglia was hit on the elbow by a pitch.
Actually, it would have been an easy play, but you see right there, he pulled up, and then he realized that he wasn't quite there yet. Just about came out.
It almost hit the heel and popped right out. All's well that ends well as far as Jack's concerned, however. And here's Ken Griffey, who is 0 for 3, although he did pick up an RBI. Griffey does not seem to be seeing the ball well at all.
you'll find that when guys go in slumps, they don't see it. When they're hitting, they see everything. They see the stitches on the ball. If there's a little spot on it, they see it. For some reason or another, they just don't pick the ball up out of the pitcher's hand. And the later you wait to pick that ball up, the tougher it is to hit.
One and one. One out, nobody on. 2-1. Two and two now to Ken, whose dad recently retired, and although he may come back, tell you what, he's been an amazing guy. Ken Griffey Sr. play as well as long as he has. He said that the #1 thing he wants to do for a while is go watch his son play. He doesn't get, certainly didn't when he was in the National League, have a chance to see his son play, and man, is he proud of Ken Jr.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I never would retire if I were him. They'd have to take my uniform when I went home. I'd come back the next day and look for it and it wouldn't be there. I sure wouldn't retire. Take it from him.
Griffey swinging and missing at the third strike will get first as the ball bounces by Petrale. Well, we're at Arlington Stadium right now as we're in the 8th inning, but a reminder that following baseball tonight at Sports Center, Bill Patrick and Bob Lee will be on hand. Major League Baseball scores and highlights. The Notre Dame steroid story continues, and John Hot Rod Williams has been offered $28 million for 7 years by the Miami Heat. So will Hot Rod go? It'll be, I'm sorry, Dan Patrick and Bob Lee. Bill Patrick's been handling baseball tonight for us. Sports Center coming up next. Passed ball charged to Gino Petrale. That's nothing new.
You know, a while ago you were talking about Griffey not seeing the ball, and he definitely swung at that ball, which was a foot outside, like he didn't see it.
Really, you can tell generally by the way guys swing whether or not they're really seeing the ball. Apparently Petrale didn't see it either. Alvin Davis 1 for 3 with a double his last time up, takes inside, and the count 1-1. Seattle trailing by 1 as Brad Arnsberg begins to warm up, and they may go to Brad in the 9th if they still have the lead. Grounded foul outside first. 1-2. Griffey at first on the pass ball, and of course Rogers credited with a strikeout. As again we update you on baseball scores completed and in progress around both leagues tonight. Yankees sweeping Toronto. Two and two. Pittsburgh and the Mets both winning, so the National League East top remains unchanged. Griffey representing the tying run with 1 out here in the 8th inning and a 2-2 count to Alvin Davis. Three and two. Now, with 1 out and a full count in late innings down by a run, would you send, as you look at Tino Martinez on deck, would you send Griffey here?
No, I wouldn't.
Play it safe.
Yeah, I don't want double play here. There's a good chance of it. He's going.
He is going, and it's popped up. Gary Green has a play near the bag, but the wind, which has been whistling in and swirling, made it a little tougher play for out number 2. There's one of the flags. The state of Texas flag, by the way.
Yeah, I would, right there, I think I'd fence it. course, that's what makes the world go round.
Yeah, there's no book. I mean, you know, there's no set way to do it. Lefevre electing to put Griffey in motion. I think I would have gone the way Lefevre went. I'd taken a shot.
Well, the reason I wouldn't have is because I'm looking at the middle of my lineup here. You know, I got my RBI guys here. You know, guys are going to hit extra base hits, and I don't want to take a chance of just running myself out of that inning.
Yep, because you're going to be criticized more if it doesn't work than you're going to be praised for having it work. Grounded to short. Gary Green over to Palmeiro, and the inning is over. So Griffey reaches on the pass ball after the strikeout. No runs, no hits in the eighth. Still a one-run Texas lead. Here's our Budweiser storyline tonight. It's been Nolan Ryan going for his 301st victory of his illustrious career. He is out of the ballgame, as is Seattle starter Bill Swift. Ruben Sierra has had a good night, and Dave Valley of Seattle has scored a run in each of his 3 at-bats, including a home run. It boils down to a one-run ball game as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and a swing and a miss by Jack Doherty facing Keith Comstock. Doherty batting for the first time. He replaced Pete Incaviglia, as Incaviglia has a bruised left elbow being hit by a pitch. X-rays were not required. It'll be Doherty, Petrale, and Green against Comstock, who has retired 7 of 8 since he relieved Swift with 2 out in the 5th inning. And Doherty now 1 ball 2 strikes. Ordinarily a much better hitter left-handed than he is right-handed. He hasn't been able to catch up with the breaking ball yet. Down the right field line. Briley will not have a play, as it's about 4 rows back. Still 1-2.
Comstock is going into his 4th inning now, and you don't really want your middleman to pitch much longer than this, so you got to kind of watch him pretty closely and bring somebody in if you have to.
The high fastball makes it 2-2. Well, actually from about the 6th or 7th inning on, the bullpens in a one-run game like this are never inactive. You get into real situational baseball. Off-speed pitch misses outside. Comstock thought he had a strikeout, but it's 3-2. Ball 4. Let's go back to the studio for Bill Patrick and an update.
All right, Steve, we go back to earlier action this afternoon, the Angels and the Tigers, and the story was Cecil Fielder, who became the first man in the majors to drive in 100 runs. 3 RBIs on the afternoon, gives him 102 for the season. He, of course, leads the majors in homers with 39. Chuck Finley took the loss. Let's go back to Arlington.
Thank you, Bill. Jim Lefevre looking on as he's trying to get a run or 2 and prevent the Rangers from increasing their lead as they have the leadoff batter on here in the 8th inning, and Gino Petrale has the third baseman Martinez charging, but it's ball 1. Petrale tonight has driven in a run with a base hit in the 4th inning. You can see Dave Valley telling Comstock he's going to bunt. Be ready for the bunt, and it's fouled off. 1-1.
The reason you bunt here, you like to get that extra insurance run. It means so much to go into the last inning 2 runs ahead rather than 1. So you pretty much have to get that guy over. He's got 2 strikes on him now, and I don't know if, well, no, he only has 1. So he's going to continue to bunt, at least until he gets 2 strikes.
Yeah, the way the Rangers bullpen has struggled at times, another run would make Bobby Valentine feel a little more comfortable. More so than normal, perhaps. But you know what they say, we'll stop scoring runs when you tell us that the other team is not going to score anymore either.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't just sit back. Bunted foul again. 1-2.
See, there's a case of just trying to be a little too fine with the bunt. You're going to have your base runner is going to be running anyway. You just want to get the ball down. Just make sure you don't bunt it right back at the pitcher with a 1-hopper. But you just want to get the ball down in fair territory. And he's trying to make a perfect bunt out of it. Now he's got 2 strikes on it.
I think, too, there are just not enough guys around anymore that have good technique. They don't work on it enough. It's not important. They don't even get the bat hit in fair territory. Too high. 2-2.
Well, he may have missed a sign here. I doubt very seriously if he would have him bunting with 2 strikes, but we'll see.
Sharply grounded through the hole, a base hit to right field. Doherty stops at second. And the Rangers have it going in the 8th inning with runners at first and second and nobody out.
Shortstop, Gary Griffey.
So much for the bunting.
Well, you bring them in and then hit it by them.
That's it.
Actually, he hit a pretty good pitch right there. You have the ball was right in the hole, but the second baseman is cheating a little bit towards second base on that. I don't know that it would have made any difference anyway.
Here's Gary Green, who has grounded to third twice and flying down the left field line. 0 for 3. And he's trying to bunt. He drops it right in front of the plate. They get the force at third, but not the double play. Reynolds came off the bag, even though the throw probably would have beaten Green had he been able to stay on. So the lead runner, Doherty, cut down at third, runners at first and second, with 1 out, and it looks as if maybe Gino Petralli is hurt at second base.
Take a look at this. It wasn't a good bunt. You gotta get it out of the way a little bit further than that. But I was just wondering about the throw at third base. From third, it didn't look like it was that far off of the bag at first.
Nope. But you got a second baseman covering who's not used to taking a throw over there. Petralli appears to be all right as the trainer attended to him at second base, and Lefevre now is out to talk to Comstock. With the top of the order, switch hitter Gary Pettis coming up.
Center fielder, Gary Pettis.
The wins have not come easy for Bobby Valentine, even though the Rangers are 3 games over 500. He feels they should have a much better record than they do. They've lost a lot of games he thinks they should have won, partially because of the inability of their middle and late relief to do the job on occasion. Pettis has had a good night, scoring a couple of runs and a couple of hits and 3 official at-bats. On the corner, Pettis staring in disbelief, but it's strike 1.
Comstock is turning the ball over and taking a little bit off of it, much the same as a screwball.
Fastball that time, grounded foul. 0-2. Nearly 32,000 on hand tonight, and some of them have left, but not many. Mike Stanley is out on deck, and he would be a pinch hitter for Jeff Hewson, apparently. 0-2 to Gary Pettis. 1 out. And a slow breaking ball fouled back. Still 0-2. Here's Mike Stanley.
Those hitters get in the box and they're ready to hit. They don't like the pitcher to take too much time. They get set, and if you stay there too long, they'll call timeout every time and back out of there.
He got Pettis. He just kept working away. And Pettis unable to foul that one off. Third strikeout for Comstock. And the second out of the inning. And a reminder that our Friday night ESPN baseball doubleheader will originate from Toronto in the beautiful Sky Dome, where the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, battling for the American League East lead, will meet at 7:30. Some of you will see Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Game 2 getting underway at 10:30. The Mets at the Dodgers from beautiful Chavez Ravine. And some of you on the late game will see Philadelphia at San Francisco. Our ESPN Baseball Tonight doubleheader, Friday night, 7:30 Eastern Time. So Jim Lefever's out to make a pitching change. And we will take a break. We're in the 8th inning with 2 out, with Texas leading by 1. Gene Harris on in relief of Keith Comstock, the third pitcher of the night for Seattle. Facing Kevin Reimer, who is pinch hitting for Mike Stanley, who was going to pinch hit for Jeff Hewson. And Jeff Kunkel will go in and play third base next half inning in place of Reimer, Hewson, and Stanley. Are we all together? Pitch looked pretty good, but it's a ball. Harris with a record of 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And now he and Bally are going to talk.
And you're looking at Harris's record there, the stats. You know, I always look at those base on balls. He's got 36 innings pitched with 27 base on balls, and the relief pitcher just cannot come in and walk people.
Especially in a 1-run ball game. Rangers already have runners at first and second, and he gets Reimer to end the inning. So a big final out in the 8th as far as Seattle is concerned, as they're only still 1 run down as we go to the 9th. Pennant races are heating up, and obviously football season is upon us. And don't miss the season premiere of NFL Game Day at a new time, noon Eastern Time. The crew is back. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, Pete Axthelm, and Freddie Edelstein, premiering September 9th. NFL Game Day, noon Eastern Time, as the NFL gets underway in earnest. A 1-run game as we go to the 9th inning. Texas leading Seattle by 1, 5-4. Kenny Rogers still in relief, and Jeff Kunkel into the game to play third base. That one at bat ate up about 4 players off the bench, with Kunkel now coming in defensively.
You know, you never really look at that when you make those changes, but if you ever get into extra inning ball games, and there's a pretty good chance that this could get into an extra inning, then you're going to need some of those guys that you use on that one exchange there.
Hewson, Reimer, and Stanley are all out of the game, and Bobby Valentine, before one pitch can even be thrown here, is coming to the mound with Jeffrey Leonard, the scheduled hitter. I wonder if that's going to do it. That is going to do it for Kenny Rogers. Bobby waiting to see if, in fact, Jim Lefever was going to make a move of his own, but it is going to be Brad Arnsberg who's going to come in to pitch tonight when we return to Arlington in a minute.
Friday night, the Red Sox battle the Blue Jays and the Mets meet the Dodgers. Or in some areas, the Pirates take on the Reds and the Phillies battle the Giants. Friday night at 7:30 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Baseball tonight.
Here's Brad Arnsberg to pitch the ninth for the Rangers. Check out that ERA.
1.17. 46 innings pitched and 34 strikeouts.
He's the third pitcher tonight used by Bobby Valentine. Nolan Ryan going 7. Kenny Rogers pitched the 8th. Arnsberg to pitch the 9th. Jeffrey Leonard takes ball 1. Leonard batting for the second time. In his first at bat in the 6th inning, he popped out to Palmeiro at first. Way outside. 2-0. Leonard, Valley, and Vizquel, the 3 scheduled hitters in the 9th for Seattle. Arnsberg with 3 saves, trying to get another one here. And a check swing foul on a ball out of the strike zone, so it's 2-1.
Leonard is having more or less an off year. He's just not the Leonard that he was when he first went over to the Seattle ball club, nor the one that he was when he was with San Francisco. A lot of times you'll find a ball player that's a fairly decent ball player will more or less play like the club that he's playing with now. And that's not to say that this ball club isn't improved, because they are.
Base hit into right center field. Big turn by Leonard, but he puts the other flap down and heads back to first. No, that's true though, guys. You know, sometimes when a club is struggling and a player is traded to a struggling club, he struggles. When a player is struggling and he's traded to a contending team, he comes alive. Shows you how much psychology is involved in the game to a certain degree.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of mental, and also, you know, if you're a pretty good ball player and you go to a struggling team, they just might pitch around you, make it a little more difficult for you.
That's right, if you don't have some protection in the lineup. Big night for Dave Valley, but not this at bat. Green to Franco to Palmeiro for a big double play in the 9th. Just when Seattle had gotten the tying run aboard with nobody out. Valley had scored in each of his first 3 at-bats, including a home run. But Green, Franco, and Palmeiro took care of 2. And now Seattle will send up Scott Bradley as a pinch hitter for Omar Vizquel.
They have a quick meeting on the mound. And any of you guys know this guy? Well, yeah, I know him. I played against him somewhere.
Bradley hitting .241 with a homer and 27 RBIs. And a good breaking ball for strike 1. 2 out in the 9th. Texas leading by 1. And Brad Arnsberg trying to save it for Nolan Ryan. 1-1. A line drive caught by Kunkel, and the game is over. Arnsberg, with the help of a double play in the 9th and a fine play by Kunkel on Bradley's liner, ends the game, picks up his 4th save, and Nolan Ryan gets win number 301 in his 12th of the year.
Well, Nolan didn't pitch the best game he's ever pitched in his life, but I think he'll take this one.
Any win is a good win. So for Bob Gibson, this is Steve Zabriskie saying so long from Arlington, Texas, where the Rangers and Nolan Ryan win it 5-4.